Hey everybody, today we're going to be taking an early look into update 0.5.0. As always with these videos, I do need to clarify that everything you're about to see is from an early build of this update, so anything and everything is subject to change. I should also mention to anybody that is new to this channel that I am part of the development team. I work with the BadPixel studio and TinyBuild, and that's how these videos are possible. Also, I will talk about the delays that have been happening with this update. I'll explain what's been going on behind the scenes with the development team, but all that's kind of boring, so first let's actually talk about what's in this update. And that means I can finally show what all of you have been waiting to see, and that is boats. These airboats will spawn around the map in various locations for players to find. When you do find a boat, it will be functional. You won't have to scavenge for spark plugs or do anything like that. However, boats do have a health bar and a fuel level, so you will have to maintain those. Each boat can seat up to 5 people total, 1 driver and 4 passengers. You could load more people onto the boat by standing on top of like the front area, but you do run the risk of slipping and getting sent right into the motor blades, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. These boats are decently fast too. I believe the maximum speed right now is somewhere around 64 kilometers an hour, which is about 40 miles per hour for my Freedom unit enjoyers. So it will now be possible to quickly move around the map with your entire team with you, which is gonna be pretty cool. It is pretty risky though. Boats will take damage when you're shot at, and they can explode and kill anybody sitting in the boat. I can't really say right now how many shots it will actually take to completely destroy a boat, since that's not final at the moment, but I would say that if somebody gets close enough with an AR, you do run kind of a decent chance of getting blown up. Here you can see a clip of me mag dumping a boat with an MG36, and this boat is at completely full health. And it does take a minute to really chop down that durability, but still, if you're not paying attention to your health bar, you can get your entire team killed. You will be able to repair and refuel the boats with some specific items, but at the moment, those items aren't really fully implemented just yet. The jerry can does have a complete model and animation though, so I can at least show you guys that. Here we are refilling a boat. Also, I think it just looks hilarious when you run around with one in your hand. The boats will also have a light mounted on top of the propellers that you will be able to turn on, and this should help a lot in the nighttime so you don't hit any rocks or anything in front of you. And most importantly, you can run over players and kill them with a boat, as long as you're moving fast enough, and I know that's important to a few of you, so there you go. Water bases are of course going to be super useful now, since you can lock away and store a boat for yourself, as long as you place your fences correctly. And of course, a big complaint with Deadside for a long time has been the amount of time you spend just running from place to place, which of course gets pretty boring after a while. So now with some sort of transportation, this will cut down some of that boring travel time, if you can get your hands on a boat. Alright, let's talk about the new locations. There have been some new islands added to the north of the map. These islands will have a large military base, a port terminal attached to it, and further down a harbor/oil petroleum depot. And all these locations are pretty close together, and they're really kind of just 2 separate chunks of a single complex area. At these islands will be a medium, hard, and epic mission, and I'm sure some other events will spawn around there as well. And at this military base is a lot of verticality. This base has many different layers to it. At the bottom by the shoreline is the port terminal. This has some harbor equipment there. From there you can take the stairs up to the helicopter staging area. Here there's a few helipads and a little bunker behind it. Up the hill from the heli area is the main base, and the main base has a couple multi-story buildings and a basement bunker area. So a lot of levels here. And the whole base kind of just has this unique look to it. This area has a more modern design. There are benches and potted plants there, and the paint looks pretty much new. There will be bridges to these islands, so you won't necessarily need a boat to get there, but there's only one bridge, so without a boat you seriously run the risk of getting shot out in the open by somebody camping the bridge. I think this area will have some very interesting PvP because of this verticality. It's going to offer good sniping, but also ways to easily flank those snipers and push them without them seeing you. So it should be a good time. And there's been a bunch of quality of life changes. Corpses are now going to be highlighted, which will really help if you're trying to search for a body at night. There is now a windowed full screen mode, which is pretty nice. There is now icons inside of campfires, so you can actually see which items are being cooked or burned. The font sizes have been changed on the map and in the UI. They're a little bit smaller now, and in my opinion this makes the game look a lot cleaner. And of course this update will come with a bunch of bug fixes, stuff like the heavy assault visor lean bug, things causing game crashes have been fixed, magazines disappearing once placed on the floor, stuff like that. Okay, so now that we've covered all the fun stuff, let's talk about delays. Now, most of you know that boats were originally projected to be finished by the end of October, then it got delayed to November, and now it is December, and the update is still just in closed testing. I understand that a lot of people are unhappy about these delays, but also they're annoyed about the lack of communication about the delays, and I totally get it. You're excited for an update, you're given a projected release window, and it's disappointing when that month passes by without any news. So let me break down what's been going on behind the scenes as best as I can for you all, because it's a bit complicated for people who aren't very familiar with game development. First off, the reason the delays are happening in the first place basically comes down to the fact that vehicles are a very complicated system. They require many different independent systems to be working correctly for the vehicle itself to function, and if one little part of that system isn't working correctly, the entire thing comes crashing down. Sometimes, literally, it can cause game crashes. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into the technical side of these things because that'll just make this video way too long, and honestly, I don't have a very great understanding of the systems myself, but I can at least give you guys a very basic overview. Deadside's boats are handled on the server side, not the client side, which is basically your computer. So, let's say you want to move a boat forward, and you also have a friend riding that boat with you. You press W on your keyboard, that input is sent to the server then moves the boat, since the movement of the boat is handled on the server side. Then, the server has to send the data of the boat moving to anyone within render distance, and it must do this fast enough so that everyone's game is synced up with the server. Vehicles also have collision, and that's when things start to get complicated, because that is a simulation of physics that you then need to network and sync up between everyone's computers, and that's where you start getting into deterministic and non-deterministic physics, state synchronization, and other networking methods like snapshot interpolation, and I think I'll just leave it at that because I'm pretty sure I've lost most of you there. So, keeping all of that in mind, what's basically been happening is the update is being put on a test server, then the internal testers will find some sort of bug, like maybe something causing crashes, some sort of lag or stuttering or incorrect collision. Then the programmers will have to rebuild that update and fix the problems. Then they put that new fixed version back onto the test server, the internal testers have a look at it again, and what do you know, there's some new problems. Maybe those fixes caused some problems with the networking, and now the boats are stuttering everywhere. So then the programmers need to make another new version, and the cycle continues. And this is how game development works normally. The thing is, because these vehicles are so complicated and there's so many systems working together, it's just taking a lot longer than normal. So I think now you guys can understand how this is causing these delays. This also makes it very hard to communicate with the community since the state of the update is constantly just a little bit unclear. So hopefully you guys now have a better understanding of what's going on. Everyone on the team is working as hard as they can to get this update done, and while the delays do suck, there really isn't anything that can be done about it. The update can only actually be released when it's playable, so we're just gonna have to wait until then. And I've been testing out these boats for a while now, and I still just want them to be released. I mean, just having some sort of vehicle will do so much for this game. I do think that the time that's being spent here, even considering the delays, I still think it's going to be worth it in the end. We all know that Deadside needs vehicles badly. It's been a huge complaint since day one. So at some point that time needs to be invested to finally get this feature done, even if we do have to wait for a while. So that's pretty much all I have for this video. I do want to quickly let you guys know about an event that I'm running called the Bakery Awards. In my Discord, I have a channel where you could submit your Deadside clips. You can submit pretty much any clip you want as long as it's yours. I'll make a video on this channel where I'll watch most of the clips that you guys submit, and the best ones will get an award. there will be a bunch of different awards. Not sure how many there will be yet in total, but I know there's going to be like a Funniest Clip Award, a Smooth Brain Award, a Best Play Award, also Community Vote Award, stuff like that. The winners will get a special role in the Discord, and you're going to be featured in the video, so not too crazy rewards, but I think it's still going to be a fun time. So if you're interested, there's a channel on my Discord server with all the information, and you could submit your clips there. So, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.